What is up? Welcome back to Mangalku. We're reading another 4 volumes of Bluelock. We're doing volumes 5 through 8. We are continuing where we left off. We get kind of like, I forgot where we ended last time, was just in the middle of a match. Like that was just weird.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had to go back and read a couple of things, but it's very easy to pick up again.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's just like fucking fantastic.
It's like dribbling a soccer ball.
Exactly.
It's so
right?
easy once you get back into it.
It's so good. I was just like, I started reading it. It's like, man, that's really good. Like,
Yeah.
The chapter we came back into, like, shit pops the fuck
It
off.
just explodes out of nowhere.
Insane.
So it's like the art is fucking fantastic.
Yes,
like
yes,
it's just so crazy, and they do such a good job, way better than fucking Haikyuu, of actually figuring out what's happening in the game.
Yep.
Like Haikyuu, I had a real hard time figuring out, like, all right, so I see the ball goes this way, but it's like I'm kind of confused on where.
It's because they use like that little after image thing, and they make it look like it bounces. And I was like, I appreciate
this
that a
one
lot.
makes perfect sense.
it's a
Didn't get
master's
confused at all. It's like I totally get it. The author must fucking love soccer, football, whatever you want to call
Football,
it. Because holy
football.
shit.
Like, they break down all the plays. They understand why it works. Like, I was sitting like, oh, that's solid. That's a good
I'm gonna
idea.
try that later.
I mean, immediately right after we get the conclusion of this match, they go to their little training room, and it's just like, yeah, you're right. A ball's never just gonna come straight to your leg.
Yeah,
they
it
explain-
makes so much sense.
Explain it all. It's so good. And the
Yeah.
whole manga is about like improving. So it's like
Yep.
it's a totally in-universe reason where it's like,
you guys
oh, I'm
wanna
going
go
to do
play-
this next time I
Yeah.
mess
You
this
guys
up
wanna
on
go
the
play football?
past. What?
You guys want to go play some football?
Yes,
It makes me
seriously.
want to.
So, we nothing like this.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, let's go do it. Yeah. It's like, oh, well.
Why is that guy, like, smoking black? Oh, my God.
Oh my God, he looks like a demon.
So
Yeah.
I think needless to say, we all liked it. We all
Oh my
thought it
God,
was
very much so.
continuing being fantastic. Because we loved it the first 4 volumes.
Yeah, it was so good because we forgot. We never really established that we were going to come back to anything we've already read. Sam continued reading
Yeah, he
it,
just read the whole
Yeah.
thing.
and then he's like, I'm going to just reread it again.
Yeah,
it is so
really
fucking
good. Really good.
Oh.
So definitely a big recommendation from all of us at Otaku.
Yeah.
Read Bluelock, fantastic. If you like any sort of sports, anime or manga, like specifically like Haikyuu, or they do a
Slam
Kuroko
Dunk.
no Basket reference at one
Yep.
point. So if you like anything like that, you will like this. Like it's
Okay.
very, very good.
It's crazy. There are always real world references to soccer
Yeah,
players and
yeah.
stuff, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna move into spoiler territory. So
Hit
if
us.
you just want to know if Bluelock was good or not, it's fucking good. Read it.
I mean, watch our first video too.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. We just
So-
cream all over
But
that.
we're going to go more into detail about what we saw in volumes 5 through 8, what we think might happen afterwards, even though I already know, and kind of talk about the dynamic from there. So we pick up with Team V versus Team Z, okay? And that is one that we left it off in the middle of last time, and it's just like all kinds of very easy to pick up again.
Yeah.
Because I went back, started reading, I was like, okay, I kind of don't remember the characters. I remember there was the Bakugo character that we got confused with the other kind of.
Yeah.
But he is very involved in this match.
Yeah.
Don't see him much at all.
After that,
After
that.
completely, yeah.
Like there's a solid 5 of them or something that they're just like, yeah, you know how like all of Team Z were the kind of the main characters? Like
Not anymore.
not anymore.
I
It's
think
like,
they were setting you up because
Yeah.
like the little later on, you kind of lose track of all the
Yeah.
other people, which is kind of sad. But yeah, they really honed it down on him, the power shot, the speed
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Bakita.
princess.
yes, princess.
Princess.
Which is
I
remember
love that.
first episode we were very confused. But I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
They
it's like,
do a bath
is
scene
he
with-
a guy? Is he a
Yeah,
girl?
they did the bath scene. I'm like, you're finally putting it out there that they're all dudes, right?
Because he could have been like a Mulan. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Very-
Oh, good
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
And he's
Wow.
jacked, by the way.
Oh, yeah, hell
I
yeah.
was like, wow.
they're all jacked. Like
Yeah,
even
well-
Isagi, who's he's always like, oh, I don't have like the physical. He's
like-
jacked.
Yeah, he's like,
also.
oh,
Yeah.
my muscles are
I
super.
remember at the end of it, like after the deciding match, they go into that training little bit.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
shit was
Oh.
fucking funny. They're like, oh, we're going full day.
That stressed me out.
But it's like it really is. I as a grand scheme of like everything that we read in these 4 volumes, I love so much that they basically like we grew up with Team Z. Like here's we're seeing all this. We obviously get the decider of the first selection. And then very quickly they're like, yeah, Team Z is not really going to play with Team Z anymore.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
get to play with the other characters. And I'm like, oh, I like that so much.
It was when we were talking to Danny the other day. He was saying, we were talking about Fire Force, and he said the first season's them getting the crew together.
Yeah.
This is like, we had the crew together. Fuck the crew now.
Yeah.
It was so wild
I do
because normally,
like that though, because what is it? They walk in and they tell everybody that there weren't actually like a bunch of ABC teams.
oh yeah, it was
just
all fifth stratum.
everyone was just shit. Yeah.
Well, it's like you would assume that if this was a normal anime, though, like what Josh said, you would follow kind of Team Z
Yeah.
all the way through,
Throughout
and
the
they'd be
whole
like,
thing.
oh, well, Team Z is going to be the Japanese representatives, like,
Yeah,
for sure. Like
exactly.
they're going to go all the way through.
Nah,
They
But there
very
were
quickly
weak
turned that
players.
shit on
Nah.
its head. very quickly.
The point where they're like, "Oh, you're gonna go in solo. If you don't see your friends again, just know that they probably didn't make it."
Did you guys think Isagi was gonna be the first one to go through? And
I did think.
I was like, Isagi. They're all like hyping each other out. Like Isagi's gonna be the first one,
and he was not.
And he was like,
no,
what, 13?
and I was surprised because Bluelock is all about like ego. So like, I assume that everybody's kind of do it, and very quickly all of them like, oh, I don't want to be first.
Yeah,
it's like, you guys are kind of ruining the whole point. Like,
but it's genuinely crazy how like Isagi goes from like, oh, dude, I just don't know about this to like a fucking animal.
I love him.
He is destructive.
Who was your favorite character out of all the volumes read? Because I have a very notable one that was my favorite. I loved King.
Dude, right? He's my boy.
King cracks me up,
he's my
dude.
boy.
So
I love him.
good.
Get out of my way, plebeians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all of his tendencies are great. I still gotta go with either Isagi or that new Rin guy, the number one.
Oh,
the
he's
number
so
he's
good.
cool as
dope
fuck.
as
He,
fuck.
no spoilers, but he gets even better. Like,
Oh,
it's-
no.
And so he's an interesting character for me. Rin, where we find out the rank 1 of all of Bluelock, and he is the
Younger brother.
younger brother of someone who's already very successful in the
And
football.
we met him just briefly.
We kind of saw him a little bit, and he learned about Bluelock in the first volumes we
and
read.
he's like, I want to go, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And but this whole Bluelock thing, because the whole set point of Bluelock is like Japan doesn't have any world-class strikers. Like that's the whole point of Bluelock.
Yeah.
So like it kind of like they keep showing Rin's brother. I'm like, well, is he good? Like according to like Ego, the guy who's putting it all on, like does he think that Rin's brother is good? Because he's saying they're all trash. Like
I think it's something.
I think
he was saying.
I think they're building a team is what they want.
I think he doesn't even want to play for Japan's team. I think he wants to play out of the country somewhere else, like be pulled from Japan.
Well, that's the goal for all of them.
Yeah.
Well, the older brother specifically, I think he doesn't play for Japan.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I don't know. I think it was like under a certain age group.
Because you have to be by the
Well, that's the goal for Bluelock as a whole, because they talk about how like we make good strikers for Japanese, but then they go overseas and then they don't have the language barrier, they can't communicate.
And they're all hyped up. They're like King.
Yeah,
they get hyped up as fuck, and then they get there like, oh.
Yeah, and then they come back to Japan and they settle in like a middle class team somewhere and just fucking hang out.
Like, hey, did you want me to pass the ball?
That
Yeah,
part-
bud.
that part was kind of
Yeah.
sad. I'm like, they kind of just like fizzle out.
So I just wonder what does Ego think about his brother? Like what is because like Ego is calling everybody else trash. Like that's like Ego's whole thing. He's like every striker Japan has produced is just fucking garbage. Like I'm gonna create the one true one.
I think technically his brother is like a midfielder or some shit like that. He's not a striker.
Okay,
but I don't know.
I guess.
Do you think he falls under the trash bucket for Ego though, or like,
I don't think
because
so.
they're kind of
he
setting
does.
up like he's gonna be cool, like Ren's brother.
Yeah,
like
I have a
if
feeling-
Ren is this badass, like
Oh my god. Well, I have this feeling. Okay, one, they're like, once you finish second selection, you go up in training against world class.
Yes.
Ren's older brother is totally going to be there. I think he's going to get pulled in for that, and it's going to be god tier. It's just insane to me. It's like a power levels thing already. It's like these guys are fucking insane. I don't know soccer, but they're insane. And then Rin comes in and he's just like,
He just
I can
schools them
360 no scope from back here. You guys are dead bodies.
they kind of like, so Jose mentioned it for a second. They kind of like double fuck you, where they go like, yeah, we've been following Team Z, like they're like the fucking worst team. And it's like, no, I lied, and I told everybody you guys were the 5 worst teams.
and you
but
had
then
all train too.
you meet Ren, and he's like, oh, okay. It's like so,
just like,
so
fine.
he's not. It's like,
Exactly.
And he just walks straight in and takes a fucking test. Or
he's like by far the best one. Like
The
by
baller
far.
move, he just walks in, is like, cool, I'm just going to establish dominance on all of you real quick. I'm going
Walks
to kick
in.
a ball up and then kick it again.
Yeah.
with a different ball.
that was pretty badass.
I didn't understand. That was one of the very few times in Bluelock that I didn't fully understand. They had to like explain what just happened.
Yeah.
That was the only time where I didn't understand.
I
the full
knew that's what
movement.
it was gonna happen because I think David Beckham has done that where he
Oh,
like
they
kicks
kick
a
him.
ball up and then he kicks another one and manages to kick the other one.
But he did it in
Yeah.
two different techniques
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
even looking, and then he just walks in.
I love so much the setup for kind of like the second selection, and then it starts on the second stage, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the first stage is Bluelock Man, which
Yeah.
fantastic.
I thought that was
The
great.
technology. I was like, how are they making a hologram
Yeah.
do this? And they
Yeah.
explain the technology. I was like, bullshit, bullshit. But all right.
All right.
Yeah, I like they really. That was one of those things for me. I read that, I was like, they don't need to explain it. They can just say,
Yeah,
oh, we
I
just
was
made the
just like-
hologram be able to hit the ball.
Yeah.
but then they tried to, and it's like, okay,
So
like,
each ball has a chip inside of it, and then
And
when
it
it gets
knows.
close to it, it's like, no.
yeah.
But I like how they established Bluelock Man as like this impenetrable force that they have to get 100 goals, and
which
then
that would be next to impossible.
I was
by the way.
about to
like
say,
100
do you guys
goals in
think-
90 minutes. That would be
How
impossible.
many do you guys think you can score in a
Not
match?
anywhere
One.
close.
Not getting to level 2.
It could be an empty goal, and I wouldn't be able to score 100 goals in 90
I think I
minutes.
could do it. But it was cool how they did set up, like Jose was talking about, like, oh, they shoot it at a different angle, now it's sloppy, there's a bunch of people, it's
Yeah.
like it stresses you out. It's like, this is dope.
Yeah,
But
I
then
wish we actually had that.
But then they go to the 3v3s, and Bluelock Man is just like, maybe I'll hit it when we want to
Yeah.
cause drama.
Yeah.
That was
But-
pretty good though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's talk about that 3v3s.
I wish like I'm thinking like My Hero Academia. No spoilers coming, but I wish they would do a similar setup to this for like My Hero Academia. You know when they do like the class versus
the
class
training stuff. Yeah.
I love that this forces you to draft people. Like,
Yeah.
they go from like a team of 11 and they're like, okay, you're starting at 3v3s. Pick your team. Could be anybody you want.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then the whole setup is like, you lose, they get to steal one of your members
Yep.
and they go forward. You go
I
down.
love that. I was like,
That
wow,
is such
that
a
is
good
amazing.
fucking setup.
It felt like Game of Thrones where
Yes,
nothing's sacred.
so
Obviously,
good.
like Isagi, but that's why I was saying Isagi's my favorite character because they haven't made him the main character trope where it's like I'm rooting for him. He's genuinely.
Did you guys know
fucking-
they were going to take Bakira when the moment that they
I figured I was like they're gonna take him. They're not gonna take Isagi. Like,
Yeah, I had to think about it. They wouldn't take
well,
Isagi.
their thing was like he's a team player.
Yeah.
That's why
Yeah.
we're taking him.
Nagi, I felt like could have been easily taken.
Nagi's a higher rank.
Yeah,
than
was
Nagi's way higher.
7? I saw they were
way
like,
higher.
I saw as soon as it said like Isagi's like 15. It's like the other 3 are gonna be top 3, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like 1, 2, 3. It's like oh. But they, to your point earlier, where it's like it's all about ego. Fucking Isagi's the only one. I want to end you.
Yeah.
Like go for him. Like guys, he's a bit high up there. No, fuck
Nah,
it.
we do it.
Because they talk about it later when they decide to challenge King 2, where it's like there's the 2 different strategies. Yeah, you can take someone really easy and you can get
Yeah.
the win, but then you're not going to have a strong teammate
Yeah,
to take with
exactly.
you.
That was really smart though. I love that.
It's so good.
I feel like the writing is so intelligent. It's not like one dimensional where we want to just plow this one guy through. It's genuine. Like you will lose if you fuck this up, and like here's how other people are playing. Like there's no one-sided thought process, and it's like I'll play to your.
I like that even the main character though, like he recognizes like when it gets down to him and Nagi, he's like, if we lose, I'm out.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Like,
I was
they're
like,
gonna take Nagi.
ooh.
Like
yeah, but by the way, when it was King and the other guy versus Isagi and Nagi,
Oh,
and then his friend's like, yeah, I think we should play against each other because we're gonna lose. And then in the fight, yeah, I thought I could take you. I'm like, you're a dick.
gotta
like-
play because like you think about it, he from his strategy, he's like, oh, I know that Nagi's really good, but
Yeah.
Isagi, I have a
It's 'cause
chance against
they're like,
Isagi.
oh, you're very
Yeah.
used to doing you're very much a team player. You're not
Yeah.
very much a
Yeah.
one-on-one guy. And
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that's fucking harsh,
It was
dude.
sad when Nagi and them both realized, it's like, yeah, once we lose our passers, like we're kind of useless for
Yeah.
a bit. And but it's so insane for us to hear like Nagi saying like, oh, I'm pretty useless without Leo.
Yeah.
But the very first chapter we come into, he latches onto the goal outside and does a sideways kick into the fucking goal. Like, I think you're good, bud.
Yeah.
I do love how King just fucking kicks from the half from
He's
and he just
awful.
scores. I'm like, that's my boy. That's
But
my
they kind of mention it for a second, and they don't really talk because it's a smaller field than
Yeah,
normal.
yeah.
So they do say like when he first says like, "Is that allowed?" And then like, "Well, yeah, but you wouldn't normally be able to do it."
Exactly.
Like,
But it was so cool. Like I thought, oh, they're gonna break King. Where like Isagi, the devouring thing is like
I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
erect.
I thought that was the
like,
coolest thing ever. I was like, wow.
he's just I'm gonna devour King. It's like he can do that. Like
Yeah,
is he gonna
it's
start
so
fucking
good.
mid shooting from the fucking middle? And now he's just like fucking around with him. But when King's like, I guess I'm gonna have to play as a team, and he's like, fuck that,
Yeah.
and then just goes and does his own thing. I was like, okay, that's the one I
it's
wanted.
so good.
But I love when they finally get King on their team, and then they're like gonna go like sleep and all that stuff. All those little interactions
Yeah,
are fucking
yeah.
funny. He's like, wow, he's very tidy.
They do such a good job of like, hey, here's this character that we met a while ago. It's like now he's a part of the team, and you love him just as much as all the
Yeah.
people
yeah,
in Team Z.
and
Like,
just flush him out
it's
real
so
quick.
good.
It was just great.
It's like I would say it's the equivalent of character development that they have in like My Hero, where like you originally hated like Bakugo, and by the end of it, you're like, he's one of my favorites, kind of thing.
Yeah,
They
I
do
agree.
like everybody has a character arc. Obviously,
Yeah.
like when they were doing the Team V fight, only the 3 people were really important. They have trash to pull.
I think now with the setup how it is now, they've made it where it's like, yeah, we don't want to focus on 11 people
Yeah.
anymore. So it's like we're just gonna really tone it to the 5.
Yeah.
and it's like that's
It's a
so much
smart
more
move, yeah.
easier to manage. Like if you just have 5 key characters, you could totally do that.
So I'm curious. So end of selection 2, they're gonna have 2 sets of 5 or teams of 5, right?
Mhm.
Is it gonna be one time or?
I don't think they play at 5. I think once you get 5,
You
it's
have-
over.
You're at the next
Like,
level.
Yeah,
But there was 25, so there's 125 people on the roster. We don't know how many people made it through the
Yes.
first selection,
Yeah.
which was the 100 goals.
yeah, that's a known.
Yeah. Which I love how they set it up where it was Isagi and Bachira, and it's like, oh, we're going to have to wait for the power guy or Red Princess. They're like, And Nagi's like, I'm gonna just join you.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
I
Leo,
like
and
that
just
a lot.
deuces out. I was like, that's amazing.
It's so good.
But I like how
he
they
leaves
came
Rio
in
and he's
together.
like, he's just like, what? You're leaving me? What the fuck? He's like, yeah, I broke up with him.
Yeah, he's more exciting. Sorry, I'll see you on the other end if you want to come
really
back. It's really
good, and it kind of fucks up because there's some people on Team Z from the OG where it's like, how are they going to score 100 goals in 90 minutes?
They did the thing where it's like some of you might see, and they immediately go to Buddha Kid. I'm like,
Yeah.
and we ain't seeing Buddha Kid and the fucking goalie.
Yeah.
But before we go back into selection 2, there was one part. I can't remember his name, but it's the shark guy. He looks like Suigetsu
Yeah,
from
the guy we were
Naruto.
comparing to like Bakugo and stuff
Yeah.
last time. Yeah,
He cracked me the fuck out.
He's
like,
great.
I've been defending, and if you guys are gonna lose, I'm gonna murder all of you.
Yeah, I love
And
that
then
guy.
I love at the very end they're about to lose, and he just comes out of defense and immediately fucks it up. He's like, "Yeah, got
he's
it."
such a good guy too,
is.
and he's also like he's not the first one, but he's like the one who kind of rouses everybody to forgive Kuan as well.
Yeah,
like,
Yeah,
when-
and he
still
punches
bitch slaps
him.
yeah,
Yeah.
he fucks him up, but he's
But
like,
he's like, we're
it's
cool
that's good
now,
enough for
right?
everybody, right? It's like we're good.
Yeah.
He does the stereotypical. We're cool, right, bro?
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Also, that Kuan moment against Nagi was like,
Yeah,
I saw
yeah.
like
It was
had
kind
to-
of brutal.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It had to happen, but
Yeah.
like it was actually cool. And they're
Yeah.
like, I like how everyone came to the conclusion. It's like, yeah, if he didn't do that, we would have lost.
Yeah, he took the red card.
Yeah. I
Well,
was
they
like,
also told him, like the even middle of the match, like if you had not done that, you would have just gone through. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know why you risked it.
it's like,
Like,
I just did it. Fuck you. It's like, but
they
it was-
kind of do the bleach thing, or like it is a very modern anime thing where you see somebody's flashback, it's like, oh, they're gonna fucking
They're
lose.
done.
Like here it
Yeah.
comes. Like here's their fucking flashback.
But I liked how like King got his flashbacks too, and it kind of
Yeah.
explained
Yeah.
some stuff. And there was one other person I can't remember right off the top of my head. They got flashbacks, and it was like,
Yeah,
I think it was the dude that said he could take on Isagi.
it was. Yeah,
He got
was
his
his,
flashbacks,
yeah.
and it's like, ooh,
He
that's
basically
rough.
he was poor as fuck.
Yeah, I felt so
Super-
bad for him.
I thought those
His
were
parents were
segments.
dead, and then
Yeah.
him and his sister were taking care of
Fuck,
everything. And I
that
was
is
like,
sad.
On a total side note, just on the parent talk, I watched so much and read so much anime and manga. Parents are important to characters.
Yeah.
So be a good parent. If you're gonna think that you might die, just maybe don't have kids. You know,
Me and Sam know very well how good parenting is in the My Hero world, right?
it's insane. Like these characters, like, oh, my backstory is my parents are dead. Well, fuck, that's just gonna change how they are.
So did you guys catch a little bit of like the side story going on with Ego and Henri, where they're
Yeah.
like having to
To like
pitch the
continually-
idea
kind
almost.
of having to constantly defend this idea, and it's
Yeah.
like it's taking too long. And they also mentioned when they set up the Bluelock Man stuff that they're running out of budget.
Oh, they
Yeah,
had no
'cause,
budget.
I mean,
He's
so-
like, shut up, this is perfect.
Like
Yeah.
that's like a real, like you can tell, and they have the one guy who's like the big naysayer, Bluelock.
The
He's
president.
like clearly like, oh well, we'll see. It's like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to pay for that. Like
It was the two of them like button heads,
Yeah.
and I liked how Ego actually started like being mouthy, like he was
Yeah.
telling everyone to go fuck off. Because normally he tells the players to go fuck off,
Yeah.
and then he comes off as like the eccentric guy. But in that meeting, he's just like, "Fuck you
No,
all."
he straight up just told everybody, he's like, you don't believe in me? Well, fuck you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so fucking dope. Also, I don't know. I guess it's just because they don't really have chicks in the manga, so I know a lot of the dudes kind of have feminine properties. But the one girl in the whole thing, they're just like, oh wow, she has big tits. Like
No,
the
no,
whole time.
What did they say? They're like, do they look bigger than last time?
They
Yeah.
always
Yeah.
say that, and it's like I wonder if they just feel like, oh, we have to throw a girl in there to kind of like add
Yeah.
that stuff. But it's funny, like it's just weird.
yeah. So but I like kind of like there's this whole like side government thing going on too.
Yeah.
Where they're like, yeah, you're costing us a lot of money here, and we're getting no results. It's like, well, do you want good results or do you
Yeah.
want fast results? Like,
Yep.
what the fuck
So
do you
good.
want? And it's just like it's so interesting to see like the other side where they're just like they're not like, oh, we're just
How
in this
long have they
fantasy
been in
soccer
there?
factory. I don't know how long they've
Right?
been in there. I don't know the
I
total
can't
time
really
it's
tell
been so
the-
far.
yeah.
I feel like it's been a few months at least. I feel
I
like
believe-
I
yeah,
would
yeah,
say
yeah,
that makes
6
sense.
months at minimum.
Yeah.
Which is actually kind of crazy because what that
Because when they do the training, it was 10 days that go
Oh
by
my
just
God.
like
Yeah,
that. So
Dude,
have
could
to
you
do-
imagine waking up that early, hit like what was their like cardio stuff, and
it
Yeah.
then
was
it
like,
yeah.
2 hours of cardio, 2 hours of planking.
and then they
uh,
hit weights at like 4 or 5.
It was insane. I just couldn't do it. And
Like I know professional athletes do like 2 a days or like specific trainings, but like damn, dude.
like they were dead. And I like how when they show everyone in selection 2 when they came,
Yeah.
they're like all fucking tired.
Yeah, everyone's tired. They're like,
They're
oh, I
just
don't
like-
understand
So,
why everyone's tired.
I have a question for you guys.
Go
So
for it.
we, to the audience out there, all of us sitting on the couch know who is. We kind of end on the big decision of who is Isagi, Nagi, and King going to pick off of the team that they just defeated, and it's obviously either going to be speed guy or kind of like the cool mid shot strong guy.
Yeah.
I love that guy.
He's awesome.
He's
You
one of my
wouldn't take
favorites.
Leo in any world?
No, I would not have
Fuck
picked
no.
him.
Come on,
They
come
hype
on,
him
dude.
up.
No way.
They
But it's like-
hype him, but he's
Dude,
he's
remember
not.
when they showed the stats?
Oh my
And-
God.
It's like, yeah, he's like an all-arounder, and it's like
perfectly
everybody
rounded.
else is like
Off
is
the charts.
boom. It's just
I like how they gave Speed, dude, like he was really high up there, but then Power Dude's like power and fucking
Yes.
like what
He was actually had better
was really
stats.
good.
he had the same in the
Yeah.
speed, but also power. It was
100%.
crazy.
I'd love to see him again.
So it's either Chigiri or Kunigami, I
Yeah.
believe the names, and you have to pick between the two. And we know, we were joking before we started recording, Jose Redhead, Josh Redhead on accident. I'm way ahead already.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys because I already know the answer. Who do you think is going to be the 5-man team? Like what
for them?
What is the 5-man team that makes to the end? So
Okay, well, let's see what we
just
got.
let's just see who
My-
can get the closest.
So my answers always require a little backstory. I feel like because the Rin group is 4 and no one wants to play
Yeah.
them, we're gonna get a
Rematch.
rematch, and they're gonna
Yeah.
pull Rin,
Okay.
which is gonna be sad because then he won't pull Bachira,
Mhm.
and they're gonna have to go. But I think it's Rin.
Yeah,
It's gonna be the
I think it's
5.
gonna be Rin too.
Okay.
It makes sense.
We'll have to wait and see when we come back.
Oh,
So-
you know, don't
he
you?
knows.
I know.
And look at him smile.
Yeah.
I don't trust him.
I know. Okay, well, let's keep it kind of short. Those were the 4 volumes we read. Obviously, volumes 5 through 8. A little confusing on that one. I don't know what volume they're up to now, but there's way more chapters still
Yeah,
out
there's
there.
a lot.
When we did 1
So-
through 4, it was like 100 already.
Yeah, and they're just flying. So there's always gonna be more Bluelock. If we might come around back to it. I highly believe we'll come back around to it. 'Cause
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we all
think so,
very
too.
much like Bluelock.
Yeah.
So we do these every 2 weeks. So the next manga we're gonna go to is gonna be 2 weeks from now, and it's another set of 4 volumes. It's gonna be something super totally different. I don't really know much about this one.
Oh, interesting.
I know there's a lot of nudity in it.
Yes.
All right.
It's from the guy who did Gantz. I don't know if any of you guys
I've
know
heard
that
of it.
one.
Gantz.
I remember-
It's kind of like a gory, brutal anime.
I see.
And that's pretty much all I know. And except it's kind of like kaiju fighting. So
Okay.
it's called. Let me get it. It's called Gigants. All right.
Oh.
No
All
way. Gigant.
Gigant, no plural. So as we can see giant boobed girl on it. So it's by the guy who did Gantz, and basically this woman, from what I have flipped through, can grow big and fight monsters.
All
So-
right. She's
but
like
when
Mount
she
Lady.
grows big, she kind of like she'll go
Rips her
naked or
clothes.
something. Like I don't know. I think it'll be good. I
Okay.
really liked watching Gantz, but I never went and read Gantz.
Okay.
So I have high hopes for it. I think it'll be really good, and it's still ongoing, so it'll be
Dope.
interesting to see. So if you're a young boy, don't watch 2 weeks from now because there's a lot of nudity in this and a lot of gore. So we'll be doing this in 2 weeks, and then we'll probably be circling back to something 2 weeks after that. But you got to watch next Mangalku to figure that out. So be sure to leave a like and subscribe on the video. We'll be back with new reviews every other week, as I mentioned. So if you have anything you want us to read, or there's a new series that's coming out that you're interested in, let us know in the comments down below. We'd love to know, because normally I'm just kind of picking at random, as kind of stated by this. I don't
How
really
was
know
it?
much.
If you like the picture.
Yeah, pretty much. So I judge a book by its cover is what
Yep.
we do here on this show.
That seems to work out.
So thank you for watching, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks for another review.